Hi, everybody. Welcome. Thank you all so much for joining today for another fun Tuesday afternoon. So I am welcome. Yeah, welcome. My name is Carrie. My husband Dale and I are the creators of the Seed to Spoon app. So we started gardening back in 2015. I always have to think about it. I don't know why. I say it every week, but I'm like every week I have to think about it. But exactly 10 years ago, I can say that. I can remember that. And yeah, we started from scratch. Like we knew nothing, had done nothing really before. And along the way, we're like, I really wish there was an app for that. So we decided to make one. So here we are today. It's been quite the ride. And we learned a lot and started growing in different ways and found smart pots. And that's how we found Edvin here. So welcome,
I know,
Edvin.
yes. Super cool to be here. Yeah, my name is Edvin Flores. I'm here at Smart Pot World headquarters. Smart Pot is the original fabric growing container, invented back in the 1980s by Ralph Rieger, actually a veteran from World War II. Flew over 100 missions, got shot down, and came back and started a small farm here in Guthrie, Oklahoma. And fast forward to today, it is the still the original fabric growing container. Um, Made just right here, as you can see, made out of fabric. I'm certified lead BPA free, so completely safe for growing vegetables. Carrie's got some kitchen made tomatoes behind her growing. So yeah, a lifespan of very easily 10 years. I know Dale and Carrie, I think some of theirs have already exceeded that lifespan.
Yeah.
So every year we kind of have to get them some new ones just to keep it fresh for all the shots for you guys. But yeah, super excited to be here. I'm excited that, Dale and Carrie invite us every week and yeah, talk about November gardening today. Is that right, Carrie?
It is, yes. I love these month to month ones because there's so much that you can do every single month in the garden, whether it be, I mean, out in the garden or inside, you can grow things or just preparing for next season too. There's so much that you can be doing. So I feel like it's a packed day today because we're going to have a lot of things to cover because believe it or not, you can do so much in November. I love it. It's exciting.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't know about you, Carrie, but like this time of year, like fall is kind of like really when I start to have more time at home. So it's kind of like kind of stinks because it's like, during the summer you kind of got to be out, doing shows, doing this, that. You don't really have too much time to be at home in the garden. But in the winter, there's actually a lot of things you can do in the garden. You can actually grow a lot. I really love to do indoor gardening. Doing setting up a grow light and I don't know, just like when you look outside and everything's kind of like dead, dried up, trees have no leaves. There's just something about having, a nice little garden set up in your house, maybe just even house plants. In my office, I'd like to kind of just have plants all over, just to kind of brings that green and nice touch and, freshens up the place, if you know what I mean.
Oh, absolutely. Because I hate it whenever in the wintertime it gets so green and just so, or it's not green. It's not green anymore.
Yes,
And it
yes,
makes me sad. And that's why we always have to have indoor plants going because I need to have
yes.
a little bit of life because everything looks so dead around. So, yeah.
Yeah, and it's a fact, humans touching plants, it just kind of works something in
Yes.
our mind where it just relaxes us. So if you have never done a house plant or you've never tried to grow indoors, definitely try it this year. I mean, Carrie's gonna go through some varieties that you could even eat, going through the winter. Microgreens are perfect for that. We talked about that last week. And
Mhm.
there's also because of, amazing companies like Park Seed and Kitchen Minis, there's like full tomatoes, vegetables, and herbs you can grow indoors in 1 gallon smart pots. And you'll literally be harvesting. So gardening doesn't have to end, especially if you think that it's too cold out. Indoors it's perfectly the perfect temperature. So everybody should be growing indoors in the winter.
Yay. Well, Trish, I'm excited that you were able to join live too. Yay. It's exciting. I love it when you guys are able to join live and we can just sit here and chat too cuz it's just we're just out here hanging with our garden friends, right?
I know, yeah. And Carrie, you haven't mentioned the giveaway yet.
Yes, you're right. I always, you know me, I always forget. So I'll pull it up too. But we are doing an amazing giveaway like usual. It's awesome. We are doing a free 1 year premium Seed to Spoon app subscription. So with that, you can get unlimited pictures that you can send up to Growbot for plant identification, pest identification, or just plant help. Like, what is wrong with my plant? And so many things you can do. Unlimited garden layouts and garden and free shipping on all your orders. I mean, I really could go on and on, but I will not. And also smart pots from Edvin.
Yeah, Carrie, actually, it's fall. I'm gonna try to upload this picture, see if it comes up. What I'm gonna give away is actually one of these. This is our Smart Pot compost sack.
Oh, good idea.
So if you guys have not seen this before, this is actually our 50-gallon version. And Carrie, the reason why I'm really excited to give one out is we actually just got honored a US patent for this item. So this is like our ninth US patent. So this was invented in Oklahoma, made here in Oklahoma. 50-gallon compost bin. So throw in all your spent soil from this year, any food scraps. I know everybody's got leaves in their yard this year. So throw those all into there and turn it, water it here and there. And by come springtime, you'll probably have usable compost that you can spread all over your garden. Super amazing. They're easy to use. So I'm going to go ahead and give one of those out. So yeah, make
That's
sure you guys are
exciting.
commenting. Yes, make sure you guys are commenting. The more you comment, the better chance you have at winning. Let us know where you're gardening from, what zone you are, and what you're excited to grow in the fall. Let us know what type of varieties you're growing. Maybe there's one that Carrie and I haven't grown, and maybe we'll try it out this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I love to hear what you guys are doing too. And if you guys have tips and tricks to share with everybody too, I love and I welcome everything. So comment away if you guys have any questions or comments, pop them in there. It's super informal. We just pretty much hang out here and chat and talk about our gardening experiences and share some of your guys' comments too.
Yeah, and a lot of the tips you guys might have, or a lot of questions you might have, somebody else might have that as well. I have
Absolutely.
definitely, before I got the pleasure of joining you guys here live, I was learning just like you guys were from behind the screen, learning from Carrie and learning from the comments. So make sure if you have any questions, no questions too dumb to ask. So just let us know, and we're here to have fun.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, let's jump right in because there are so many things that you can plant still in most places. I will speculate that. Really quick before I go too further, in the app, you can see the full list of things like that you can plant in your area based on your location in this Let's Grow section right here. You can also go into the growing guides and you can filter down by plant now if you want to see things that you can plant now, all of that. But we're going to go through and just kind of chat about a few of the key things that most everybody can be planting right now. But I will say garlic is number one on my list pretty much every fall because it's definitely one that you want to get in before the weather gets too cold because it is I mean, you can really plant it until the ground is frozen, really. Like we've already had a frost here and I just saw a notification there in our Seed to Spoon app saying we had another one coming up. But even though like the ground is not frozen solid yet, I can still get in there. I can still plant my garlic. And
Yeah, I mean, I laughed when you said that we had a freeze because we're literally sitting at like 70, 71 degrees right now. I
I
mean,
know.
this past weekend we like literally had frost on the ground. It had looked like it had snowed. And then you wake up today and it's like people are sweating because we're all in our sweaters and all that. So yeah, the ground is like Carrie said, the ground is not frozen yet. I mean, it really needs to be frozen. I don't know the exact amount of time, but it really needs to be frozen consistently for it to really freeze. So right now, if you're in our zone 7, Oklahoma, you're still very workable, especially for garlic.
Yes, absolutely. And garlic really likes the cold too. So the fall time is a perfect time to plant it because it gets that cold stratification of the winter time. And then in the spring, it is going to come up and flourish for you, and you will have tons of garlic. It's amazing. It's one of the easiest things to grow too, I feel like, because you can literally just plant it into the ground right now and then almost forget about it. I mean, obviously you'll need to water it here and there, but like, yeah, for the most part, I really do just go and plant it and forget about it.
Yeah, something I haven't tried, Carrie, but like a lot of what we've seen a lot of gardeners do, and even as small as like 7-gallon containers, they plant garlic and they just leave it. They like literally leave it on their on their railing, and just all through winter and come back and it they have, heads of garlic in their 7-gallon smart pot. So I haven't tried that, but I definitely want to try that.
I love that. Yes, I will. I will do that this year too. I'm going to do that actually, maybe today, because I do have some garlic that I still need to plant. And I'm like, maybe
Ooh,
I can go out there and plant it into one of these containers that I have. So, yeah, that's a good idea. I'm going to do
that'd
it.
be fun. Fee, I'm kind of jealous. She said, Carrie, I'm still pulling tomatoes off the plants.
Well, you know what? I am in my indoor tomato, but yeah, I'm jealous if you're still getting tomatoes outside. That's incredible. Oh, one of the beautiful things that I wanted to mention about garlic is so right here in this picture of my hand is it's one of them, that large one is what's called the elephant garlic, which, while technically it's not a garlic, it's called garlic, but it's more closely related to like onions and in
I was
that.
gonna say it kind of looks like an onion.
Yeah, it's more in that family, but it has like, so it's a very mild garlic taste. Um, but it gives you these just huge bulbs. It's, yeah, you can see the difference in the size there. So it it's up to you, like on your flavor too of things that you like. But that, I love elephant garlic too to grow because it's so much fun. It's huge and it's a lot easier to peel too. And yeah, I am a fan of doing that. But of course, I always do traditional garlic as well too. But yeah, you can't go wrong with
Well,
any of it.
great question. Right now we're talking about small and big garlic. So Desiree asked, why does her garlic stay so small?
So, I mean, it's honestly probably a lot to do with the variety that you're growing too, because that the varieties, I mean, you can see the difference right there, and those are both fully grown, fully matured. But check if you want a larger one, make sure you get a larger variety. Also, just double check and make sure that your soil is plenty like um, workable, that it's not super condensed and hard because then it will struggle to grow. Yeah, I
Yeah.
just double check that.
Yeah, talking about compost, if you do have soil that's really very hard or clayey, adding compost to that, some more organic material will definitely help with the aeration of that. Um, so if
Yeah.
you do have troubles with that soil, definitely try that out. And also, like Carrie was saying, I mean, where you get your seeds, truly does matter. I used to not even think about this. I used to order all of my seeds on Amazon, which there's nothing terrible wrong with Amazon. There's millions of sellers and you really don't know where that stuff comes from. A lot of the times it comes from, unknown places. So really trusting somebody like Park Seed, especially combined with that Seed to Spoon app, it really tells you what's going to work in your area based on your geographical location, based on your weather. So if you have had multiple seasons where you're struggling with harvests, definitely try to change where you get your seed from.
Yeah.
Park Seed, they actually store all their seeds in like a big refrigerator actually, and that really
Mhm.
helps with germination rates. So definitely try that as well.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of really good tips too of he corrected himself with cloves, but so the bigger the cloves are, the bigger the bulbs will be. So I mean that is really good tip too. Like if you want just larger ones, just plant the larger of the cloves of garlic that you have. Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
And Desiree said, "Yeah, thank you so much." She was saying she plants all the cloves, so maybe she'll do a little bit, be a little bit more picky. And that's a great idea. You're not wasting so much space and resources. You're really tailoring down to, a good harvest.
I love this. Absolutely go for it. So if you have some garlic that's already ready to sprout for you, do it. Absolutely get it out in the ground and see what it can do for you. Okay. So let's talk spring blooming bulbs now. This is the beautiful slide right here, right? So there's a lot of bulbs too. So if you want these blooms like first thing in the spring, now is actually the time to go through and plant a lot of these too. So I was actually out there yesterday in my front yard planting a couple of bulbs. Um, so, yes, it's still time to do that. Again, as long as the ground is workable, you can get those bulbs in, you can get a bunch of flowers in, and that'll help bring in a lot of pollinators too to your garden. And it's just absolutely gorgeous too, because I feel like bulbs you can honestly, just like the garlic, you can just plant them and be like, forget about them until spring and when they come up. I love that. Um, yeah, so that's definitely something to be considering right now, to be planting in the ground wherever you are.
And talking about bulbs, actually, Carrie, so I was at my local big box Walmart store, and they're actually starting to stock those. I don't really know if I'm pronouncing the amaryllis bulbs,
Oh
those
yeah,
very beautiful like holiday flowers.
I love
So
amaranth.
I actually had never planted one, but I went to the store. I think it was in like January of last year, so it was past the holidays. So they had
Mhm,
everything on clearance, and I was like,
mhm.
well, let me just try it. Why not? And actually planted those, and they actually sprouted. They're in the greenhouse. So if you're somebody who's walked
Oh,
by those
nice.
boxes, yeah, if you ever thought about trying one out, I would definitely recommend it. Like I said, it was past the season, and they're still sprouting and they're still growing amazing. So yeah, if you see those in the box, try one out, and they're super fun. And I didn't
That's
think
really
that they
cool.
worked, but worked for me.
Yeah, I got one last like November or so, to have one inside. Actually, I had it right over there, and it was so beautiful. I love the amaryllis bulbs. They are gorgeous.
Yes, I was super surprised. They're a little finicky, and I learned from people commenting on the video that I posted. They were saying, they don't like to get wet in the middle of the bulb. You kind of want to water around them, and but yes, I mean, it's still growing fine, so super
Oh,
cool.
that's awesome. Good job. I'm gonna need to get one too. Jackson and Perkins actually has a huge selection of amaryllis bulbs that they do
Really?
a lot of like gift. Yes, and I got, yeah, they actually sent out a catalog not too long, and I was like, oh my goodness, I want every single one. But
No, that would
yes,
be so cool to just plant out different ones in different pots. But yeah, I had never planted one, but they're so cool. I mean, they grow like, a lot of foliage out of those little bulbs. I mean, they're just amazing.
I actually had to put like a little support stick inside of mine because it was so tall and so big. I was shocked
Okay,
about how.
so you can support them like that then. I mean, mine is like everywhere, but so you're saying try
That's what
lifting them
I
up
did
because
for
does
my
help.
flower, because it was like going over. I mean, there were multiple flowers, but like one of them was like going over. So I put a little stick support in there, and I like tied it to help it out a little bit.
I haven't sprouted a flower yet. Now, I don't know if I haven't been taking care of it correctly, but it's a lot of
Um,
foliage, so I'm still waiting on the
that's
first
good.
flower. I'll let you know.
Yes, let me know. I want to see pictures. That's exciting. Okay, and then I know we did have like an entire day dedicated to cover crops pretty recently. I think that was a few weeks back, but I do want to just touch on that again, that if you guys are going to be or don't really want to be planting a lot in your garden over the winter or anything like that, plant some cover crops just so you don't have to worry about losing soil from erosion or from wind coming by, or if you're worried about weeds taking over the garden, or if you just want some fertilizer going in your garden, a little fertilizer boost over the winter. Try planting some cover crops. It will help you a lot. It'll give you a lot of soil, like supplements into the soil, give you structure into it, give you some nitrogen too. It'll help to break up any sort of like compact soil or anything like that, especially if you're growing things like the radish or things like that. Also, if you have like diseases or like fungus issues or things like that, growing things like mustard over the winter time there can really help too, to just clean up the soil and revitalize it. So, if you're not growing anything over the winter, at least do cover crops because it will help your soil out a lot.
Yep,
There's
and
my
a great
soil.
call out. Yep, great call out from Todd. He's saying a nitrogen boost in spring helps too. So definitely growing one of these cover crops kind of gets taken care of. Like Carrie said, don't leave it bare. Leaving it barren actually will degrade the soil quality and make it a lot worse for you in the spring. So just having something growing actually maintains the soil structure. So definitely grow something over nothing.
Absolutely. Um, Julie was asking about, should I fertilize a little away from the flower bulb? Could it burn the bulb? Um, this is actually a really good question too, and the one that I am going to call on our friendly, helpful
Yeah,
Growbot.
and honestly, Julie, I learned. I mean, I'm so careful with my bulb that I would say probably, but our friend Grobot knows everything.
Let's find out. Okay. So early spring. Gently
Oh
work
yeah,
the
number
fertilizer
three.
into the soil around the bulb. Make sure to keep the fertilizer at least 3 inches away from the bulb itself to avoid any direct contact that might harm the plant. There we go. Thank you, Gerbot. Yep. Okay.
Laura, you and I are exactly opposite, and Carrie knows this. So she says she loves flowers and tends to grow well for her, but the veggies is what she struggles with. And for me, I feel like I struggle with the flowers over the veggies, so kind of opposite on that.
Everybody has their own unique thing, and it depends too on like soil and things like that, like and how you care for them and how much you water. Because sometimes over love and over fertilizing and over watering and things like that, things that you think are helpful, like aren't always helpful. So, yeah, you just kind of have to learn what everything wants because everything wants something different, you know? Okay, let's talk composting for a minute. So, and like Edvin was saying earlier today with his compost sack, which I still need to try out one of your compost sacks too. I've seen you use them before and they look amazing and
Yeah, and
exciting.
honestly, your application, like we just did a compost conference last week, and people were kind of like in between, do I get the 100-gallon compost sack, which is the original, or the 50-gallon? And honestly, the 100-gallon compost sack, I mean, I don't know if you guys know what a 100-gallon looks like. I mean, that's good enough for like an acre garden like yourself. I mean,
That's a
you
lot.
it's a ton of space, trust me. So like most gardeners, for most suburban, gardeners, the 50-gallon compost sack is going to be more than enough space that you need. Whereas like Carrie, she's got, just chicken bedding. She's got, I mean, a lot of space where she's got to, move all that stuff to somewhere. The larger compost sack is a great size for her, but yeah, the 50-gallon is more than enough for most people.
That's awesome. Yeah, and so this is a perfect time to talk about composting too, with Halloween just finishing up. Because if you have any of those leftover pumpkins too, you can toss those into a compost bin. Let them like it's really fun too because I go through and like one year we in this compost bin that actually is right here, this wooden compost bin, we had one year where we went and picked up like an entire truck full of leftover pumpkins. Uh,
Wow.
yeah, it was a church that was around us that had decorated all up for for Halloween and fall festivals and all that, and then they were getting rid of it, and we're like, can we take them? So we just brought them into there. We broke them up a little bit before putting them into the compost bin, just because it can help. Like otherwise, you're going to be waiting a bit before they're breaking down. But yeah, tossing them into the compost bin, super helpful. It is great, great material. Yes, I will say from experience, you might get a pumpkin or two volunteer plants, but I'm all for volunteer plants myself. So,
Yeah,
um,
another big call out that was really big at this conference, Carrie. If anybody has access to like schools, I mean, one thing that really stood out to me was actually how much food waste is produced by schools, and it just literally goes to the landfill. So some schools they have programs, or if you can set something up where you can pick up that food waste and compost it instead of putting it right directly to the landfill. That's another good opportunity because there's a ton of food that goes to waste from that, and it would make very healthy compost for gardening.
I love that. I'm definitely gonna need to look into that and see what my kids' school does with all
Yeah,
their
no,
leftovers.
honestly, they had to figure. I was like almost like double like the weight of what a kid actually weighs is like the amount of waste that they make in a year, and especially at schools, like some of it doesn't get eaten, and it's just like it was interesting. And so some people what they're doing is kind of stopping that waste from going right to the landfill, using it to create some garden gold, and it's all usually very healthy vegetables or fruit that goes to waste, and that just makes perfect compost for us. So if you guys have access to any schools, where you can create a program like that, and it's super cool to teach the kids about composting and, figuring out where our food goes, where our waste goes. So just another thing on that.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, that's a great call out. And I will say another call out that I have is actually a local coffee shop like Starbucks, places
Oh,
like that.
Starbucks. Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
they
Actually,
actually
hold on. I'm
Wow,
I'm
Edvin, you
actually really
actually have
excited.
it right there.
No, because that's a great thing you say, because I've actually seen it. I've actually hadn't seen it in any of our local Starbuckses. I
Mhm.
actually, when we went to Chicago, is actually where I saw one of the Starbucks actually had one of these bags, and I was like, oh, I need to keep this. So if you guys haven't been to Starbucks, this is actually which you'll
Wow.
it's usually by the entrances of, like, to the left or the right entrance. These are the bags that they'll come in, and there's just literally grounds, coffee grounds from Starbucks, and it's up to the Starbucks, from my understanding, it's up to the Starbucks to decide whether or not they're going to do this program. But Carrie, there's actually a lot of them in Oklahoma City that actually starting to do it now. To be honest with you, it's actually super cool. But yeah, go into Starbucks, look for these bags. And it's literally a Starbucks brand and everything. And yeah, so the managers will just put the spent grounds. You can go and add them to your compost pile. So yeah, Starbucks is, I think, one of the only places. If you go to a local coffee shop, I'm sure they'll spare you some grounds if they probably just go in the trash.
Yeah.
But Starbucks, great call out, Carrie. That they
Yeah.
do that, and just ask them for, and they'll, like I said, they'll probably find you some.
Yeah, that's awesome that you had an example right there.
I know. I literally have that sitting there because I was like, I didn't know that they did that, and I was like, wow, I want to keep this, just to show off, and perfect timing for that.
Yeah, that was perfect. But yeah, I mean, and that's perfect to be adding into your compost. I mean, you can even add that, like, it can be helpful too if you're having pest problems too. Because sometimes those crushed grounds, like sometimes you have to be careful because it does get a little acidic, but I mean, it's super helpful. It'd take a lot of coffee grounds, I feel like, to make it too acidic for my plants, but yeah, but still, it's exciting. Okay, Trish was asking about the ratio of green and browns needed for composting. So it is usually more browns needed than greens. I don't remember the exact ratio.
It's not 3 to 1, is it?
I I think so. That sounds right. That actually sounds right.
Oh yes, 3 parts brown to 1 part green.
30 part. I know. I think there. It's a mistake. Okay, translate. Yes, 3 parts browns to 1 part green. Yeah, yeah. So, yes. So, I mean, that being said, I mean, I don't go in there and like measure everything perfect. I just kind of go through and I mean, I eyeball it. I mean, if it looks like it needs more greens, I add more greens. If it looks like it needs more browns, I add more browns. I mean, it's a pretty flexible thing to do. I feel like it doesn't have to be
Yeah.
exactly perfect and spot on. Yeah.
What I would do is definitely add worms to your compost pile. They are like super powerhouses when it comes to composting. I mean, they literally work and to decompose everything, and their poop is literally like one of the best fertilizers. Worm
Absolutely.
castings. If you've never heard of the term worm castings, um, I don't know about you, Carrie, but I always recommend it to every single gardener.
Yeah.
I really love it, and it's my fertilizer of choice because you literally can't use too much of it. I know we were just talking about some fertilizers not wanting to be too close to your plants because they'll burn them. Worm castings, you can almost add mountains of it, and it's just such a light fertilizer that it will not burn your plants. So if you're a beginner gardener, if you somebody who you're not sure about fertilizing and you're just stressing about it, worm castings super easy. They're very cheap. They usually come in large bags, and you can add it to any plant. I add them to my house plants as well, house plants,
Yeah.
vegetables, just
They're
about
great for
everything.
starting. Like they're perfect for everything pretty much.
Yes, and actually, sneak peek. That's one of the videos that Carrie and I are planning for. We're actually thinking about maybe doing it a live stream of starting your own worm bin, because
Mhm.
literally with 2 5-gallon buckets, you can have your own worm farm, and you can literally have unlimited amount of worm castings.
Yeah.
So it's just another way. But yes, if you have a compost bin, adding worms in there does help increase that microbe process. So just another cool thing for that.
Desiree was asking, how do you get more browns during the season when everything's green? So I will say, like, some things that you can add in, like, I mean, if you get like a newspaper, you can do that, or you can even do cardboard. You can do, I mean, mail if it doesn't have any plastic or anything like that. But those are type of things that like all go through and add in if it needs more during the off season, like well during like the summer times. But generally I do feel like it balances out because by the time I am needing a lot more browns, I'm starting to get like fallen leaves and I'm starting to get, straws and things like that I can add into there.
And she had a tip too, Desiree. She said her mom used coffee grounds to keep the squirrels away. They didn't like it. That's actually a really good tip. I never even thought about that because one thing that people always ask is how do you keep the kind of the pests away from your compost bin, and that's a great call out.
Oh, this is a good from Todd. Wood chips too work really well long term as well. So yeah, wood chips, cardboard, those type of things are all really good brown materials for your compost bin. I love this. Yeah, the worm factory. I love the worm factory. That is one that I have actually too. And yeah, you can actually get, yep, this is where I got mine too. Uncle Jim's Worm Farm. Yep. That's where you can order worms from there too. You can order, worm bins, all of that. Okay. And I know I saw somebody talking about mulch a little bit earlier, but this is definitely something that you'll want to do to protect any plants that you may have growing. Hopefully, you'll still have a few plants that can make it through, but this will help, especially if you have things like perennials or herbs or, anything that you're trying to get through the winter time or really just to extend the growing season a little bit longer. It'll just help keep that soil warmer and longer into the winter time. And it'll help it keep a hold of the moisture better and all of that. So there's a lot of benefits of mulching, but it will really help to protect your plants in as we come into like the really cold times and all of that. And it'll help to protect your plants and keep the roots a little bit warmer too.
Yeah, and honestly, the mulching benefit, I think works year round. So really, if you're somebody who doesn't mulch, this is your sign that you need to be mulching. So
Yes.
you should have already been mulched at the spring, but if you didn't, you definitely need to do it to extend your garden season. It helps both ways. With in the summer, it helps keep it cool and retain moisture. In the cooler days, it keep warmer. So definitely mulch. You should not be mulching.
Yep, absolutely. And right here, this is my like these are just wood chips that I have right here in the ground on top of my soil. That works really good for us here. You can do things. I mean, you can do pretty much anything. You can do fallen leaves. You can do straw. You can do. I use pine shavings too sometimes. I mean, it's really what I have around and handy to use at the time. There's a lot of things that you can do to protect the ground. Like this cold times. When does that happen? Yeah, for you, lucky.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
us.
Christy says, "Oh, yep." She puts her
Yeah, I was
rabbit
just saying.
rabbit dropping straight into the worm bin. I mean, that's
Oh, nice.
another super great idea. I'm sure those worms love that as well.
Yeah, you see, that's a good idea. Actually, I that's an extra thing that I did not think about doing because typically right now I put all of my rabbit dropping like straight into the garden.
Yeah, I was
Uh,
gonna say, isn't rabbit another fertilizer that you can directly
mhm.
put into the garden? It's a light fertilizer. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's amazing. That's why one reason why we pretty much have always had rabbits since we started
Yeah.
gardening. Even when we lived in the city before we had any sort of land or anything like that, we're like, we could have rabbits when we lived in a neighborhood. So we had a couple of the giant rabbits. So they had giant droppings. So we would use all of their droppings right there. Amazing compost. Okay. Okay, so Desiree's asking, I want rabbits for the garden, but how do I keep them outside when it snows here? So I've done two different things before. So I do have like an outside run that's like completely covered and it's like very insulated. Like they have like it's like an outside run and then there's a house and then it's like a house within a house and it's like insulated trust me, it's like super warm in there. But I also, those were for my larger rabbits that are a little bit more okay with the winter time. I now have like smaller, cute little tiny rabbits, and they come inside anytime it drops at all cold. Because I don't want them out there whenever it gets too cold. But we just bring them inside. We have a little smaller cage that they come in during the night times whenever it gets too cold. But it's easy to keep clean because it's just a little tiny small area, and I mean big enough for them to sleep in and be comfortable. And then I move them back outside during the day whenever it gets above freezing. So okay. Oh, I missed the question really quick. How about mulching with grass clippings? So you do have to be careful sometimes with grass clippings so you don't get like seeds or anything like that in. That's my only beware of. But if you are like actually like trimming the grass before it like goes to seed and you're like keeping up with mowing the grass and it was short when you came to it, absolutely like that'd be fine.
Yes, and on the mulch side, you're supposed to use straw and not hay because the hay, I believe, is the one that will contain the seeds and will germinate and will kind of do the opposite of helping your garden.
Yeah, I mean, I've had issues with both. We tend to just do like wood chips and things like that, so that way we don't have to worry about weeds or anything because we have plenty of volunteer weeds by themselves without having to deal with us adding extra ones. Okay. So for those of you who are wanting to go like maybe an extra step for protecting your gardens, there's a few extra things that you can do. I have these right here, these little DIY PVC dome hoop houses that have some just plastic sheeting on them. You can put frost blankets on them. Either way, and it just creates like a little mini greenhouse for your raised beds. I've built these over huge, like those big round, big bag bed smart pots before, just with like rebar in the ground and attaching it to that. There's many ways that you can go about like creating your own little DIY hoop houses around your garden beds if you want to extend your garden season. And I definitely recommend doing that if you have the time to build something like this. It not difficult at all. It's super easy to put it together. Um, I don't even have an estimation of how much time it took us, but because we did like all of these at the same time and we did like, but it was not that time consuming at all. Really all these are, I mean, we have tutorials all over our YouTube channel. Here, I'll switch it out. So I switched the QR code to the PVC hoop house. I'm not sure what video that takes you to. That's one that Dale put up there, but hopefully that takes you to the right one. But I mean, it's super simple. All we did was just screw some PVC end caps into the top wooden frame of the bed and then arched the PVC pipes over on itself, added a little bit of PVC stabilizers like the cross balancer, and then literally, I mean, that's like it. And then we just put over top the plastic sheeting, or frost blanket or insect netting if you're going over like the spring or summer, even shade cloth. But yeah, so many different uses. But it's super easy to do. You can do any sort of little type of thing like this just to try to protect your plants and keep growing through the winter. I know for us here in zone 7, like I'm able to grow like greens out there like all year long, and even in like the winter time, I can get my brassicas and all of those like out there like several weeks to a month before I would have if I didn't have this covering. So it's super beneficial, especially for us. Um, so
Yeah,
that's
Inky Beans saying, Carrie, thanks so much. She had two of the protectors from your template last year, and they were lifesavers for her.
nice. Awesome. Yeah, I can't say enough good things about them. Like they're so easy to use, especially with these hinges on them, because you can just go in and you just lift them up and just harvest and then close it, or lift it up, water, close it. So easy. Um, yeah, I'm always like, everybody needs to have these. Everybody that wants to grow over winter time, do it. Do it. It's you trust me, you will not you'll not regret it. Um I also wanted to pop a picture of just this water jug here, because that is one that pretty much anybody can do, and it takes you like a minute to cut the bottom of a 5 gallon water jug there and pop it over top of a plant. Now this is obviously a super small scale, but this would be absolutely beneficial if you have a plant that just needs a little bit extra protection, and it will be a really good like 20 to 30 degrees more inside of that. Trust me, we have a video that we actually made whenever we had that on, and we're like, oh my gosh, look at that difference of the temperature. It's incredible what
It's
just a
actually
little
pretty crazy. Yeah.
bit, it really is.
And like I don't know if it was from you, but I've seen like pictures of like the 5 gallon jugs surrounded by snow. So it and like the plant inside is still perfectly fine. So you can still grow garden even if it's snowing outside.
Yeah. Oh, back on the bunnies. Yeah, I had Flemish beforehand too. Those were the really big ones that I had, with the Flemish giants. And yeah, they struggled way more in the summer than they did in the winter. That's why in the wintertime I was never worried about them. But in the summertime, like I would be like freezing ice jugs for them and bringing them out every morning, so that way they could lay against the ice jugs. They loved that. Um, but yeah, with my little ones, it's interesting because like the little bunnies are opposite, but then the big bunnies, yes, are absolutely the same way. So it kind of just depends on what type you have too. But they're all super cute and I love them.
Robin's asking, she has lettuce growing in several of her smart pots. What would be the best way you'd recommend protecting them?
Um I mean, several different ways. It depends how big the smart pot is. You can do like just one of these little coverings right here with just like that 5 gallon bucket. Like that fits perfectly over like a I think this one right here is over like a 5 or 7 gallon smart pot. Like and it fits perfect. Um, you could also do like I said, I've built these little PVC dome hoop houses over top of smart pots before. I just put some rebar into the ground instead of having like that wood frame around on these. I just put rebar in the ground and I put plastic sheeting, attach it on there, and I have videos of that one too. I just don't have them handy. But if you look it up online, I do have like a full length video showing me making one of those too. It's from a few years ago. Um, I will get that video and I will post it in the comments here in just a minute. So, unless Edvin, do you have tips too? And I can look it up real quick.
Yes, another option of what other gardeners have done is, for example, you have your smart pot sitting here on the ground. They'll actually come up and they'll actually mound on the outsides of the smart pots with a mulch, and that also helps insulate as well. That's another great tip. And then at the top of the plant, you can do like one of those 5 gallon jugs, or you can also do an iteration of what Carrie's done on her raised beds, and do it around the smart pot. Um, that's another option that I have seen gardeners insulate their smart pots. Um, so kind of different ways of doing it as well.
I found it here. I'm posting it in right now. Okay, so this is a video of me showing making essentially these hoop houses, but putting them over top of smart pot bags. So it's yeah. So hopefully that video there is helpful, but it's super easy to do. Okay, I'm making sure that I didn't miss any questions here real quick. Okay, I think we're good. Okay, so now that we're almost done, let's talk a little bit about. I told you this was a packed full day because there's so much you can do and should be doing in November. Um, But yes, so microgreens are another amazing thing. I won't go super into depth because last week Edvin and I did a deep dive into microgreens. We showed starting a bunch of microgreens in different ways and talked different varieties and things like that that you do. Super rewarding. You can still be getting the greens and the health benefits and all of that. So, yes. And then I definitely want to, yes, thank you. I actually just noticed that and I was like, oh man, and we just now turning to indoor. So that's why I was like, ooh, let's so yes, herbs. You can pretty much grow like any sort of herbs indoors, which I actually have. So I'll talk about these here in just a minute. But over here, I actually just planted some basil. So, because it is now really cold outside, I did some basil inside so that way I can still have some basil growing inside. I love using basil in the kitchen and having that. So, I definitely want to always have some basil around. So, um, basil chives. I have actually, I need to get a video of this and show you guys because I actually have an entire green stock tower filled with chives. It's really exciting.
We need to see that.
Yes. Yes, I actually just made it this year because I had a whole bunch of chives because chives are something that if you give plant them in a container, it will take over the entire thing. And I was like, okay, I need to figure out what I can do with these extra chives. So I started dividing them and separating them, and I brought them over to one of my green stock towers, which I don't have a picture of it, but just in case you don't know what a green stock tower is, it is these right here. And so this is one right here of strawberries, which I did the same thing with strawberries too. Which these are all strawberries from runners that I had from our strawberry patch. But yeah, so this is a green stalk tower. You can grow so much in one tower, but I have an entire one filled with chives. um, yeah, but like I said, any herbs you can grow indoors, and it will do really really well for you.
Plus, there's something about it having like if you set it up like in your kitchen, usually where it's like the brightest, and it kind of encourages you to grow some to eat something fresh. Grow something that or cook something that will actually incorporate those fresh vegetables. And in the winter time when it's cold outside, you don't want to go outside. That can
Yes.
be a really encouraging way of to keep growing, keep staying healthy even though you don't want to go out. So
That's a good call out because like that's why I love having like these tomatoes and peppers, but like also it's really good in the summertime too because it's just so hot outside. I'm like, I know I have a
yeah,
bunch of tomatoes and peppers out there, but I'm going to take these because I don't want to go out there. It's 100 degrees, but yeah.
literally.
It works great for winter and summer.
Yes.
Um, well, I feel like so herbs, while we're on the topic of herbs, this is a perfect time to be propagating herbs. And while I'm saying that, we need to do a live stream of propagating herbs here soon
Yes,
because
we do.
that'll be a good one. And I need to do it. I want to do it because my rosemary in my front yard is just like huge. I need to go trim it down and take some cuttings from it and propagate. So I'm
Well, it's
excited.
the perfect time. You got to get ready for giving away as gifts.
I know. It works so perfect. I love doing that and the kids love doing that too. My kids the past like they love making these like little tiny pots for their teachers and then we plant either we do like a rosemary herb or something like that or we do like an aloe vera cuz my aloe veras are always like putting off new ones and stuff like we do all sorts of unique things like that and the kids decorate and make like paint the pots for their teachers and it's a big whole thing but yeah rosemary is definitely one of my favorite things to propagate but you can propagate any of the like woody herbs like so more like the rosemary, the oregano, the thyme, the mint is a really good one too. All of those are going to be great ones to be propagating. And I'm a huge fan of all of those. So it's super easy to do. You just chop, like in that picture that I'm showing, just the tip of one of the rosemary plants right there. You really just pull that off and then you just take the leaves off the bottom little inch. I dip it into a little rooting hormone. It's not a requirement, but I do it just because it helps make it go a little bit faster. And then pop it over into the biodome. The biodome works perfect because it already has like those little holes right there. It works perfect. I just pop it in there and done. I love it. It's super easy to do, and we will definitely be propagating herbs soon together. So we will
For
do
sure.
that. We'll do it. Let's see. So tomatoes and peppers. I know we had talked about that, and I talk about it all the time because I am absolutely a huge fan of it. As you guys know, I love having these little kitchen mini varieties. So these are kitchen mini tomatoes, and then I have can't really see it, but right there I have a kitchen mini pepper. And then this is actually their kitchen mini basil, the bonsai basil that I planted out.
That's
But
like the best one.
it's all spread. They're all like about this tall right now, but they'll get there. Um, but I am a huge fan because these are really small plants. They stay small and compact, but they give you so much to harvest. Like so many tomatoes, so many peppers. It's just so prolific, and it's so much fun to be able to grow food like right there inside your house. Like it's amazing. I love it. Okay, let's see. Oh, looks like we're talking about, you guys were talking about basil propagating. Yes, so you can definitely propagate basil, but it's not one that I typically propagate just because the basil seeds typically germinate and grow pretty fast for me. I typically propagate more the ones who either the seeds are difficult to start or very slow growers, if that makes sense. So that's typically what I do. So, yeah.
Yeah, Inky Beans. They actually also they keep like, I mean, every year there's this trade show called Cultivate. It's like a huge industry trade show where like all like the green industry manufacturers kind of go and then show off what they've been working on recently. And Kitchen Mini, they last year they introduced that bonsai basil that Carrie has, and it's just like they had them growing like little lollipops. Like they are literally at the bottom, so they look amazing. And they're always coming out with variety. So they actually have peppers, tomatoes. I mean, they had the little cucumbers. The little cucumbers, I think, are one of my favorite ones because it's a huge plant growing in a 1 gallon. So yes, I mean keep looking on our on the Park Seed website because I mean they just keep adding different varieties, which is so fun.
Yeah, I am a huge fan of like every single one of these varieties. They are so much fun to grow because I love to grow things in little places and like unique places and all of that. Um, So, not the plants themselves, but the seeds for them, absolutely. So, all of them are available in Park Seed. And if you are a yearly subscriber, you get free shipping on all your orders. So, definitely check that out.
Yeah, if you're a subscriber, I don't see why you shouldn't be going and purchasing one of those packs of seeds. I mean, they grow all through the winter. I mean, just keep them by your window. Carry adds additional light if you really want to increase that yield in a 1 gallon, and that's all you need to be growing indoors in any type of season.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, this is really just a little small 1 gallon smart pot, and I have a full size tomato of theirs. I mean, obviously, it's not large, but it's like this big, but it's like a foot tall. It's so cute and huge fan. Like I said, I could definitely be doing an entire an entire day of talking about kitchen minis too, I think.
That might not be a bad idea, actually.
Okay. So yes, also I do just want to mention too, if you're doing nothing else, just getting ready for your indoor seed starting coming soon. Because believe it or not, it is going to sneak up on us. It does every single year for me. And I'm actually going to be growing a lot of like flowers and stuff that I want to get started earlier than I did last year. So I'm probably going to be indoor seeds starting like December and January and all that, which I bet a lot of you will be too, depending on where you live, what Seed to Spoon app tells you to do. And I do want to mention too, the Seed to Spoon app will help you too. So if you are planning out your garden, if you are planning out where you want your things to go, check that out, because you can also see if there are things that don't really go well together. It'll give you a little bit of a warning. Be like, maybe that might not be the best alternative, something to put there. Maybe let's try something else. Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah. Wow. It's gonna be time to start seeds for spring in a few weeks for Harry Warp over there. Wow. See, I told you. Let's see. How do you use peppermint to keep ants away in a compost pile? Um. I don't.
Well,
I
she was asking, can
honestly. Let's
anyone
see.
tell me how to keep ants out of her compost pile? And then somebody did mention that peppermint is a good way.
Gotcha. Probably just growing it then. Let's see. How to keep ants out of compost pile? Um. So, maintaining proper moisture, make sure you're turning your compost regularly, avoid meat and dairy scraps, make sure your greens and browns are balanced. Um, yeah, so here's sprinkling cinnamon, coffee grounds, or diatomaceous earth too at the base of your compost pile can help to repel ants. So, yeah, hopefully that's some helpful. Okay, so let's do giveaway here real quick. So, and like I said, if you guys have any other questions, feel free to pop them into the chat, and I'm gonna draw a winner too. And we are going to be doing a free 1 year premium Seed to Spoon app subscription along with that compost.
Yeah, which actually Tris was saying that she just filled her compost pile this past weekend for the first time. So waiting to get some great compost. So awesome, Trish. I know that somebody else is going to be joining you in that compost journey. So that should be really, really fun. So definitely let us know what your compost is looking like. Come back every week, every Tuesday. Carrie's doing this live stream. I try to join her as much as I can, and we've got some really cool ones planned for this coming we like we tell you guys, we plan to not stop gardening. We're going to show you guys what we're doing in our garden. So make sure you stay tuned, and yeah, if you guys have any other questions, like Carrie said, make sure you're commenting. Gets you that last opportunity to win the free seats, the free 1 year premium, and that Smart Pot compost sack. So good luck to everybody.
Okay, well, here we go. Congratulations to Joshua Dean Gordon. So send us an email at info@seedtospoon.net and we'll get you hooked up with your compost bin and your free premium app subscription. Yay! Congratulations.
Congrats, Josh.
Okay. Oh, yep. We got more tips saying yes, they do that too with the cinnamon in there. Cool. Okay. Well, awesome. Well, I am super excited for you, Josh. Yay! So send me an email. We'll get you all hooked up. And we do this every week. So if you did not win this time and you want to win next time, make sure you join us again next week for another fun garden chat and garden giveaway.
Yeah, Josh, you'll have to let us know next week what you ordered with that free shipping.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hopefully we will see you all again, same time, same place next week. See you guys.